You're standing inside a pressure vessel the size of a house, and one mistake doesn't send you home early. It sends you home in a bag. The man doing this job makes less than your accountant. And somehow, he loves it. This is the Boilermaker. Level 1, the apprentice. Your first day on the job, you show up thinking the hard part was getting here. You passed the aptitude test. You got into the union apprenticeship program. You're one of maybe 30 people selected out of hundreds who applied. You feel chosen. Then a journeyman twice your age hands you a wire brush and points at a pipe covered in rust, scale, and what you genuinely hope is grease. And that's your first week. Here's what nobody tells you about being an apprentice boilermaker. The physical shock alone breaks most people before the skill ever gets a chance to develop. You are swinging sledgehammers in spaces so tight your elbows hit the walls. You are climbing scaffolding in the dark at 5 in the morning in January. You are wearing a full respirator inside a boiler drum where the temperature sits at over 100 degrees. And you are doing this for 8, 10, sometimes 12 hours. Your hands will blister, then they'll bleed, then the calluses will come. And you'll realize that's actually the promotion, your body adapting to what it now does for a living. The pay at this level hovers around 40 to 50% of journeyman scale, depending on your local union agreement. You're earning somewhere in the range of $18 to $22 an hour. It sounds reasonable until you factor in the steel-toed boots, the gloves you burn through, the tools you're expected to buy yourself, and the fact that the work is seasonal. Some weeks you're pulling overtime, some weeks you're sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring. You do not stay an apprentice long, because something clicked for you in that first month that didn't click for the guy who quit. You started to see the vessel, not just the task in front of you, but the whole system, where the pressure goes, why the weld matters, what happens downstream if this joint isn't seated right. Level 2, the journeyman. 4 to 5 years in, you pass your journeyman qualification exam, and the world shifts. You're now a certified Boilermaker journeyman, full union scale, somewhere between $32 and $42 an hour depending on your local, your region, and your specialization. In some of the heavy industrial markets, the Gulf Coast refineries, the power generation plants in the Midwest, the LNG facilities being built along the Pacific, journeyman with the right ticket can pull $60,000, $70,000 a year, with overtime, more. But the money is almost beside the point right now. What matters is the weight of what you're now responsible for. At journeyman level, you are no longer the guy being handed the wire brush. You are the guy being handed the blueprint. You are reading isometric drawings of pressure systems and translating them into physical reality. You are setting tubes in a boiler drum with tolerances measured in fractions of a millimeter. You are doing the work that, if you get it wrong, doesn't just fail inspection, it ruptures, it explodes, it kills. This is also the level where your specialization starts to define you. Boilermakers aren't one thing. There are industrial construction boilermakers who build new facilities from the ground up. There are maintenance boilermakers who keep aging infrastructure from killing people. There are nuclear boilermakers, a subset so specialized and so strictly regulated that getting cleared for that work is essentially a career unto itself. There are shipyard boilermakers, renewable energy boilermakers now, with the wind and geothermal build-out. The trade is older than almost any living person you'll meet, and somehow it keeps finding new industries to be essential in. The challenge at journeyman level isn't skill. You've got that. The challenge is *pace star. Industrial construction runs on schedules that were aggressive before the first bolt was tightened, and somehow fall further behind every week. You are working in environments where the pressure is relentless, not just in the vessels, but in the culture. Foremen pushing for speed, contractors watching the clock, and you, standing there knowing that the man who rushes this weld might be the man whose name shows up in the incident report 3 months from now. Learning to hold that line, to be fast without being reckless, to push back without being difficult, that is the real journeyman curriculum, and not everyone passes it. Level 3, the foreman. A superintendent you'd worked under for 2 seasons pulled you aside on a Tuesday afternoon in a refinery in Louisiana and said the foreman on the next job had taken a position somewhere else. They needed someone for the crew. Would you consider it? You went home and didn't sleep well, because you knew what it meant. Being a foreman means you are no longer doing the thing you're good at. You are managing the people who do the thing you're good at, which is an entirely different skill set that nobody trained you for. You are responsible for a crew of 10 to 20 boilermakers, journeymen, apprentices, maybe a couple of specialists, and you are responsible for their safety, their productivity, and their morale, simultaneously, every single day. The pay bump is real, Foremen in the trade typically earn a base rate above journeyman scale, sometimes a flat salary, sometimes an hourly rate with a leadership differential. All in, you might be looking at $75,000 to $100,000 annually on active industrial projects, sometimes significantly more in peak construction markets. The work is steadier than journeyman travel. The stress is incomparably higher. Here's what the stress actually looks like. You get to the site at 5:30 a.m. to prep the crew for a 6 o'clock start. There's a safety briefing to run, not because it's protocol, though it is, but because yesterday someone on a neighboring crew nearly lost a hand, and you need your people sharp. Then you're managing material deliveries that are running 2 hours late. Then you're fielding a call from the superintendent who wants to know why your section is behind schedule. Then one of your best journeymen pulls you aside to tell you he's putting in for a transfer because he's not getting along with the guy you paired him with, and it's not yet 7 a.m. But here's the thing about the foreman level that nobody warns you about, and it's actually the most important thing. You are now shaping people, the apprentices on your crew, the way you treat them, teach them, push them, protect them, that determines who they become as tradespeople. The journeymen who are watching how you handle conflict, how you read a blueprint under pressure, how you respond when the superintendent is wrong. They are learning from that whether you intend it or not. The best foremen in this trade are remembered for decades, not because they were the hardest drivers, because they built people who went on to build things. Level 4 are the general foreman. At general foreman and superintendent level, your world is almost entirely logistics, communication, and anticipation. You are reading schedules across multiple work fronts simultaneously. You are coordinating with engineering, with procurement, with safety departments, with the client's own project management team. You are attending morning meetings, afternoon walk-downs, evening planning calls. Your job is to see problems before they become problems. A craft shortage next week, a material spec conflict on a drawing that nobody caught yet, a crew dynamic that's about to turn toxic. Your compensation at this level is genuinely strong. Senior superintendents on major industrial projects, refineries, power plants, petrochemical facilities can earn anywhere from $120,000 to $180,000 annually, with per diem, housing, and vehicle allowances on top of that when the work is away from home. And in this trade, the work is frequently away from home. You might spend 9 months in one state and 3 in another. Your family adapts, or they don't. That's the price point nobody puts in the job posting. Not just the physical toll, your knees, your back, the hearing you've been quietly losing since your apprentice days, but the relational toll, the birthdays you missed, the school plays your kids did without you, the dinners that went cold, the partner who eventually stopped leaving the porch light on. Some people at this level make peace with that trade, some don't. The ones who stay in the trade and lose everything outside of it, that's a pattern old enough in this industry that it has its own informal name among veteran tradespeople. You know men like this. You've watched it happen. You've made a quiet promise to yourself about it. Level 5, the project manager. As a project manager on industrial boilermaker work, you are now responsible for the entire life cycle of a job, from the proposal and bid phase, through execution, through closeout and client sign-off. You are managing budget, schedule, subcontractors, safety compliance, client relationships, change orders, and the never-ending gap between what was planned and what is actually happening on the ground. The estimating side is its own deep specialty. A good boilermaker estimator can look at a set of drawings and build a labor and material budget that actually reflects what the job will cost, which sounds basic but is actually extraordinarily difficult, because every job is different, every site has unique conditions, every schedule has specific constraints, and every estimate you get wrong either means your company loses money or your company loses the bid to someone who got it more wrong than you. The earning potential here is real. Senior project managers and estimators at established mechanical contractors bring in anywhere from $130,000 to over $200,000, depending on the size of projects they're running and the company they're with. Some move into business development, some get equity, some start their own shops. But the ones who do this job best, the ones clients specifically request, the ones whose estimates reliably pencil out, the ones whose projects finish on time with crews who want to come back and work for them again, those people carry something you can't learn in a classroom. They carry the scar tissue of every mistake they made in the field, every weld they called good that wasn't quite right, every schedule they pushed too hard, every time they got it wrong before they learned to get it right.